Okay, David, got a video here for you to show you that I think I've got all the bugs worked out of this system. Let me show you what we've got here. I've got a couple of spare gear motor assemblies that I used for testing purposes from Century Jet. This just prevents me from having to have your gear motor mounted and all of the extra encumbrances that would be involved with that. These function just the same as yours will, so it won't have any effect on what you're seeing. Here are your two servos. The servo on the left, I believe, is going to be the rudder servo, and the servo here on the right is your steering servo. The gear door servo is back here next to the gear door controller, and then here's your steering servo controller, and I've got your R6014 receiver, your 6-volt Li-Fi battery, and here's your transmitter. And so here we go. I'm going to flip this. Right now you can see that we are in the gear up position. Okay, the red light is on the steering controller, and you have control of the rudder servo only. The steering control servo has got the nose wheel, has got the servo rotated and got the nose wheel in the stowed position. We're going to drop the gear. You'll see first of all that the gear doors open, and then the motors come down. You saw the steering servo release just now, and you'll see, oh, your gear motor, it's too much going on here. Your gear door servo closed, your landing lights came on, and now you have control of both of these servos. This is your rudder servo here. This is your steering servo here. You may be able to tell there is, as I told you in that email, just a little bit of lag in the movement of that steering control servo. I just don't know of any way to eliminate that, because this controller is doing so many things at once, and the fact that it's having to check to be sure if we change this transmitter switch, it's causing the program to take some cycles to do that, and that causes just a little bit of latency on that steering servo. But if you figure that you're on the ground taxiing, I'm rocking the servo back and forth, and you'll see that it's moving very quickly. So I don't think in actual use you are likely to even see that or notice it, and I don't think it will affect your ability to taxi the plane at all. If you find that it does, then at some point we maybe can try to address that, but I've racked my brain and I don't know of any way to get past it, just given the nature of the programming. So I'm gonna flip the gear switch a couple more times and let you see everything do its same thing. You'll notice that the light is off on your steering controller because the gear are down, and there is none of that pulsing that was going on, because it right now is receiving the signal that it's supposed to be receiving. So we're going to flip the switch. First thing that will happen, oh, by the way, I found the problem with the no power on your gear door servos. You were right. It was because I had added the regulator to this controller to knock it down from this high voltage. I inadvertently inserted that regulator in such a place that it was limiting the voltage going to that servo. So the regulator was cutting in and out, and that was making the servo weak. You'll see that I have added a little red jumper right here on your circuit board, right there, that now has got the gear door servo tied to the input from the receiver. So you're getting full voltage to that servo, and it'll break your finger now if you try to get a hold of it. It's got plenty of power. Okay, we're going to bring the gear up. You'll see that I've got it set so that the door's closed, just so you can see everything working. Gear door servo will open. It is also at the same time, I don't know if you caught it or not, but it's stowing that servo. That servo is now inactive. I'm moving the rudder back and forth. You can see the rudder servo is moving. Okay, the gear are all the way up. The gear door servo closes and the landing lights go out. We're going to drop the gear again. Gear door opens. The motors start to come down and the steering servo releases. And now you have steering. The gear will come down. The gear door servo will close. And landing lights. Once again, gear door opens, that servo released, the gear start down. Now we've got control of the rudder servo and not the steering servo. Red lights on, and when they get down, the gear door servo will close, landing lights off. And this is all powered from your battery the way you need it to be and want it to be. So I'm going to pack her back up and go through the checklist and make sure that I have everything back in the box, packed up well, and I'll get it out to you hopefully tomorrow. Sorry for all the difficulty with this, David. This little servo right here, what I'd really like to do is take a claw hammer and beat it to 1,000 little pieces, because it has created havoc for me. But to tell you the honest truth, I'm glad this happened, because I needed to know what was going on with these new HS receivers, and I've learned a lot, and I'll be able to make sure that my future programming has the timing loops in it necessary to handle these signals correctly. So anyway, call me if you got any questions when you see this. Thanks, David.